Hey, welcome everybody. Buckeye Piper here. Chilly today, man. We went from the 80s yesterday, 63, 64 right now, so not too bad. So this video might be a tidge longer than a little 5-minute cigar review. It's going to be a cigar review, but a friend of mine asked me to. Ask. He didn't ask me. He asked, whatever. Ask me to try this New World by AJ Fernandez, the Cameroon series. He's really fallen in love with it and really seems to enjoy it. It's box pressed, so I'm smoking a box pressed, and it's the Toro, the 6x50. The box pressed is fine. I like the box pressed. It's lighter in the hand. It just feels different. Sometimes, that's why I like sometimes those Plasencia 660 or 601s because they're the octagon. It's just something different. So, box pressed, I like. As you see, I'm into the final third and finishing it up, but I feel like I can give a pretty good review or my 2 cents. Again, I'm no expert. Iced tea has become one of my favorite pairings with cigars, believe it or not. Very good. Very good. So if you haven't tried that, unsweet is better. But if you like a little sweet tea, it will put a little sweetness into the cigar, just like if you're having a little bit of a sweet bourbon or something. So not bad at all. In the right cigar, it really hits. Like I like a little sweet tea with Arturo Fuentes because I get a little bit more sweetness out of them than I do some of these Nicaraguan blends that are heavier spice. Well, they are heavier spice. Just put it the way it is, heavier spice. So this one I've seen rated all over the place from a mild stick to a full bodied. It's not mild. I don't know if I would shove this in the hand of a new cigar smoker. But I could see medium plus. It medium plus because that Nicaraguan doesn't play and it can get you closer to full. So definitely would eat something with it. Just my 2 cents. This isn't, you're not smoking something that's going to be light, like a light Connecticut or anything like this. This Cameroon wrapper's pretty nice. I not the biggest Cameroon guy, but hey, I thought it was nice. So anyhow, without further ado, let me get into my thoughts about AJ Fernandez Cameroon series. It's the New World by AJ. First of all, the price point's fantastic. It's priced $7-8, depends on where you go. And for a premium cigar, especially one from the AJ Fernandez family, that's a pretty doggone good price. Some of you guys could probably make these everyday smokes, but it could be, but I don't know if I would do that. Just because there's some other things that I can add in that aren't as expensive that I do enjoy. Even though 6, 7, 8 bucks is for a premium cigar, you're doing all right. So anyhow, when I lit this thing up, I got to tell you, the first 4 or 5 puffs, it was salty. I've only had that happen one other time, and that was with a Gurkha. I think it was the Gurkha Ghost. It's way back. I reviewed that way back on the channel, but that thing carried salt throughout a lot of the cigar. Now, this was only 4 or 5 puffs, but it was very salty to me. Um, that was kind of, I'm not off put, but I was, my neck's killing me today, by the way. Sorry. A little stretch here. Hopefully you heard that correct, and I don't know if you did or not. But anyhow, um, I found the first third to kind of be very spicy. Again, Nicaraguan, you'd expect that. It was very peppery to me, very peppery, especially on the retro, to the point it tingled my nose. So I know it's pretty peppery when I get one that'll tingle my nose. I didn't find a lot of sweetness that I was hoping for in the first third. Aside from being very peppery, I got like this dry wood, like an oak kind of flavor, and there was some sweetness, probably from the wrapper, but it was very faint and it didn't stick around long. Very faint and fleeting, I guess I would say. Um, First started, and I'm my buddy Brian that turned me onto this. I'm like, really? This is what you wanted me to try? So, as it progressed into the second third, this bad boy came alive for me. It really did. So the spice calmed down, which I enjoy. I like the spice too, but I don't want to just smoke spice bombs all the time. As you see, I'm still finishing this, so it's great smoke output too, and a nice lingering flavor. But back into the second, third, spice calmed down, and I got more. The pepper went away, and it became more of a cinnamon. So, like on the retro, it didn't tingle my nose as much, but it left me with a drier taste in my mouth, kind of like a cinnamon. If you had some cinnamon, would do. So, yeah, I thought it was pleasant. I like the cinnamon. Very nice. It became very nice and creamy in the second, third, which was pleasantly surprising. I really like that. And I really picked up that dry oak to me kind of faded, and a sweeter cedar came to the front. So it was like just a really nice, creamy, smooth, sweeter cedar, which now you're talking my game. Now you're talking my game. Hmm. Okay. Now, as I get into the final third, I'm still getting some cinnamon, but that puff right there, and I'm getting down toward the end, so it's going to pick up strength the closer you get to the end, and it has. That retro there was pretty peppery, pretty spicy, but again, not off-putting. Um, the final third came back to a little bit more of a drier wood. Again, back to that oaky kind of taste that you get out of a like a drier bourbon per se. Not a super sweet one, but when you get that drier oak taste, that's what I would say. Reminded me of. The cedar kind of went to the back, very faint. The oak kind of overpowered it, I think. Now that was pepper. That was a nose tingler right there. That was straight up black pepper. So I'm going to set this guy down because, I think I've done all right. Usually, if it starts toasting up my knuckles a little bit, time to go. Um, the creaminess was still kind of there in the final third, just not as prevalent as in the second third. Um, and it throughout the whole cigar, there was a little bit of a nutty kind of taste that I can't do you any better than nutty. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's freaking nuts that are growing on the side of the Andes Mountains and only get harvested by three dudes and they only pick them twice a year for one day each. No, I don't get that deep into it. I get the pretty basic flavors and every now and then something strange like that salt will post will will pop up, and that would, I mean, I was licking my lips. It was salty. So So the final third picked up in strength again, like I said it would. It's gonna happen. That as you get down into these Nicaraguans. Um, but all in all, where am I at with it? If the whole cigar smoked like the second third did to me, I would be all in on this thing. I would have it regularly staffed or stuffed into my humidor in there. Will I keep a few around? I think so. Um, was it my favorite cigar? Not by a long shot. If I was going to give it a score, I'd say, to me, pretty solid 6.5. Maybe pushing closer to 7. Just because that second third was just so, in my opinion, just so good. Very creamy and sweet and cedary, and it was just very good. But the cinnamon was there, which gave it that spice, which I liked. So, I guess that's my 2 cents on the New World by AJ Fernandez, the Cameroon series. Worth smoking? Yeah, get you one. Give it a try. Would love to hear your thoughts below deck if you've smoked one and what you thought of it. Um, won't be the first cigar I reach for in my humidor, but it won't be the last either. So, I think pairing it with something that's a titch sweeter might be good. A sweeter bourbon, a sweeter scotch, maybe even some of that good old um, Hibiki, that Japanese whiskey, which I think would pair really good with a lot of Nicaraguans because it would kind of help that pepper and add a little sweetness, I think, in depth. The cigar, the depth was fine. The smoke output was great, and the taste lingered. It's not one of those where you puff it and 2 minutes, 2 seconds later, you're like, okay, that taste is gone, and now nothing. So there you have it, Brian. Hopefully you liked the review. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I definitely could see why people would like it and would like to smoke it. For me, like I said, there's a lot I'd rather smoke, but I'll grab for this again. Anyhow, everybody, take care. Hopefully you have a great day, and we'll catch you next time.